Battle of the Billionaires entered another round this week. Elon Musk announced the creation of a new political party, calling it the, quote, America Party. This just may have a little something to do with Musk being effectively excommunicated from the Republican Party after his very public spat with Trump. So, Jake, how real is the America Party?
As of now, it's just a pure soft launch pitch on Twitter. But there was a follow-up tweet that Musk gave that I did actually find quite interesting. So he basically says, okay, look, we're not going to go full presidential ticket here yet. We're not going to try to go all 50 states. All we really need are a handful of senators, maybe, 8 members of the House, and suddenly we can have some real influence as sort of a coalitional bridge party, which, in theory sounds quite intriguing. In practice, there could be some people who would be fits for this, but obviously Elon's record of implementation in politics is, a little questionable.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Lamont Tyson, bringing you another video on the politics of being black. And here we have Elon Musk is at war with Trump. And over the weekend, he was threatening to do Epstein stuff again. And Trump came out and dropped a tweet basically calling Elon nuts, saying he's going crazy, saying he doesn't understand what Elon Musk is trying to do. And I can tell you exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do. Elon Musk spent so much on Trump's campaign, he's mad. He wants some retribution for what he did. And with what he's saying about going after a handful of senators and House people, that could work. But the problem is, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk knew what he was getting into with Trump. And if he didn't know, he should have learned from the first time Trump was president, the way Trump fucked up COVID. And now you're going to have the battle of the Musk boys versus MAGA. And there's way more people in MAGA than the Musk boys. Because as of right now, most of the Musk boys that are left supporting Elon are MAGA too. And they really, really love MAGA more than they love Musk, who, for the most part, everything he does is based in science. His rockets, his cars, the Burrow Company, all that is scientific information. And we know MAGA does not believe in science. They believe in magic, and they believe that they got one Lord, which is Trump. And that delusion can't be pierced by Musk. But what Musk can do is give money to Democrats to overcome this Trump bull job. But he's not going to do that, because when it comes to his politics, Musk is not that smart. If he was, he would have never jumped on the MAGA train wagon in the first place. And now that wagon is dragging, and old Musty Musk is hot. He madder than a hornet in water. And guess what? He's just going to have to stay mad. But the frustrating thing to me is, ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking about Musk forming another party because of the way he got his ass handed to him with this new big, beautiful bill, we've had floods and all kinds of stuff across Texas, Florida, Washington, where we've lost lots of kids, we lost lots of people, and a lot of that was because of Musk cutting the NOAA, which could have fairly warned people prior to this. And we've got a sister up here who's talking about what happened with Texas, who got hit the most. Take a listen to what this sister had to say, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
As a resident of the state of Texas, you should see the backpedaling, the gaslighting that is happening right now because of all those children and those families, those people who lost their lives in this flood that just happened, okay? And the first thing that they in the comments saying, now is not the time to talk about politics. No, yes, it is. Now is especially the time, because it seems like y'all didn't care when everyone else's families and communities of color were being torn apart. Okay, but now that it hit the white Christians, now it's a problem. And even in the midst of y'all own loss as a community, y'all don't want to acknowledge what we have been saying for months. The politics are the problem. The politics are the problem. Do you hear us now? Do you hear us now? Okay, and to add insult to injury, there will be no FEMA to restore those areas. And if there is some type of work, it will not be available on the scale that it was prior to them defunding FEMA and them defunding the National Weather Service. That's what got y'all here. Okay, but the only difference is, or whatever, y'all communities never really took that lick because it was always poor whites. If it was the whites, and usually it's not the whites, it's communities of color. But it was neither the poor, okay, in this go round. Okay, it was Christian kids at camp. And y'all did this. Okay, so while you sending thoughts and prayers to the family members, I need you to reflect on how your poor decisions, on how you guys were so amped on putting a political party into power who had no qualifications whatsoever. No qualifications.
Audience, this sister is 100% correct. Please go follow her on TikTok. That's her handle. And she's right. Ain't y'all tired of the banana in the tailpipe of, I want thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. That is some bull jive. And where is President Taco Tits, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Grift all week, golf on the weekends, should be in prison. His ass is, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you where his ass is at. While we got all this turmoil going on in America, his ass is out here playing golf. That's where President Taco Tits is at, ladies and gentlemen, playing golf. And this thing got so bad that Mexicans from Mexico had to come help with the rescue efforts. The neighbors south of Texas came to help. And you can cool believe that no matter how bad this party does people, their love of MAGA is not gonna be allowed to penetrate with this shit. This is what you get for electing a hateful, incompetent reality TV star, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you get. And thoughts and prayers is not going to do it. We need wallets and money to fix this situation. That's what we need. And are we going to get that from this party? No, because I can recall my state of North Carolina, we needed money from Trump to save his own people in the western mountains of the state. He told our governor, no. Trump, ladies and gentlemen, does not care about the people. And what makes this so bad, you've got other members, elected officials in Texas, delivering bullshit to its people. You got Governor Hot Wheels out here blaming the National Weather Service for what happened. And guess what? Who cut that? MAGA and Elon Musk. Trump literally doesn't care if people die. He has no empathy, no compassion. And when are people in MAGA going to wake up to this butt cutting that they get from voting for this type of clown? But it gets worse, ladies and gentlemen. Do you want to hear the responses from the MAGA politicians? Take a listen to this shit.
State and federal resources have just poured into that area. Is there anything more that can be done congressionally, legislatively to help these folks?
In a moment like this, we feel just as helpless as everyone else does. I've talked to my colleagues there in Texas, Chip Roy and August Pfluger, whose families, that's Chip's district. August's daughters were at the camp. We also had Betty Carter of Georgia, had grandchildren there. It touches so many families, and all we know to do at this moment is pray. Every available resource has been deployed. The president, of course, is dialed in and watching this develop moment by moment as we are.
I'm introducing a bill that prohibits the injection, release, or dispersion of chemicals or substances into the atmosphere for the express purpose of altering weather, temperature, climate, or sunlight intensity. It will be a felony offense. I have been researching I have been researching weather modifications and working with the Legislative Council for months writing this bill. It will be similar to Florida's Senate Bill 56. We must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. She posted this on July 5th. This JD Vance says, our nation's heart breaks for the victims in Texas and their families. Just an incomprehensible tragedy. I hope everyone affected knows they're in my prayers of my family and of millions of Americans. And Representative Jack Kimball responds, if only there was some kind of government agency assigned to monitor and give advance warning. Something like a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That would be a great agency to fund well and never gut its funding to give early warning to save lives in these situations.
So you see, ladies and gentlemen, out of this clip I showed you, we got two politicians talking about some more of this thoughts and prayers bullshit. When you have the wallet and the government who just passed a bill to give the rich the biggest wealth increase they've ever seen, and we don't have no money for the people that have been displaced, for the people that have been harmed. This man, Mike Johnson, said that we've deployed every resource. No, the fuck you haven't. Every resource would mean President Taco Tits wouldn't be playing golf. Every resource means Ted, don't call me Raphael, lying ass, don't take his cruise, wouldn't be out of the state. Governor Hot Wheels wouldn't be running around here lying, doing donuts on this wheelie, telling people lies, ladies and gentlemen. Come on now. MAGA, if you was affected, when are you going to wake up, stop listening to Fox, go outside the bubble of delusion, and figure out that this party does not care about you? They only care about the rich. The only reason that they like you is because they know they can manipulate you through magical religion and through your hatred and racism of other people. Which brings me to my last thing I want to cover, and that is the utter racism in MAGA, that for years you told black people that nobody was racist, and to this day you still want to ask black people, why does everything got to be about race? Well, I'll tell you why. Take a listen to this.
Can we normalize putting white people back in TV commercials? If you don't have white people in your commercial, I'm not buying your product. I'm tired of DEI commercials. Okay, the racism is just, they are so proud of it now. She's since deleted this tweet, but Marina Medvin posts, she's a professor of Native American studies, and she's talking about the problems with colonization in this video. Ann Coulter wants no part of it because she's a white supremacist, and she retweets it and says, we didn't kill enough Indians. And there's a through line through every single bit of, from MAGA to the rural MAGA voters. And it is a white supremacist through line that they do not think black and brown people deserve the same level of wealth or access to wealth or equal footing to access even a livable wage as they do.
Well, let's start with Laura Loomer ass looking like damn Jigsaw from the Saw movies. First of all, how long have white people had white commercials? That's number one. Since the beginning of America, since the beginning of y'all coming here, robbing the natives, and we'll get to Ann Coulter Skeletor looking ass in a minute. But Laura Loomer, you could learn from commercials that have minorities in it so that your ass wouldn't have that badass makeup, them badass eyebrows, and you wouldn't be looking like fucking Jigsaw. Watch more makeup tutorials with minority women, to include Rihanna. That's all I got to say with you. Instead of doing your damn job, you up here stoking racism because you know your people that support MAGA are that dumb. And I know good and damn well you secretly probably love some black dick. That's why you hate on it so much. You secretly love black culture. That's why you hate on it so much. Which lastly brings me to Ann Coulter Skeletor looking ass talking about they should have killed more natives. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see what we mean when we say we can't stop the conversation about racism? Racism was built with this country just like the Constitution was. And oftentimes, MAGA wants to hide it from MAGA because they know that something that is a little stronger than hate, if you can reach people, is love and sympathy and empathy for thy fellow man. And if you keep teaching these things in school earlier, more people would grow up for sympathy toward marginalized groups. That's why they want to take it out of schools. And that's why I'm encouraging all of you within the sound of my voice to get involved with your local school boards so that we can stop this shit. We've got to play the ground game early and often to let people know that we have the autonomy to use the government for the good of all people and not just the rich. Now, let's talk about her talking about we should have killed more natives. This is a woman who dated a clown show of a black man that was on Good Times. Let us not forget that. So while she's talking about a group of brown people, Her ass was taking back shots from a brown person for the longest time before they split up. She is not the voice of reason in America for anybody outside the country watching. Native Americans were here first. They were lied to, they were slaughtered, and then they was put into these crazy ass treaties to only have portions of land that should have been theirs. And to this day, there is a lawsuit that they won and is sitting in escrow right now, gaining billions of dollars over the course of a decade, that they said no to because they want their land back, which America is not planning to give. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to pierce the MAGA bubble as fast as possible. We have got to win these midterms. It's got to be a blue tsunami. No, better yet, let's go bigger than that. It has got to be a blue meteor shower on earth of Democrats so that we can leverage this playing field and stop some of this damage that MAGA is doing to this country. Please be sure to go check me out on that link that you see on the screen, https://beacons.ai/politics of being black. Share my content with your friends. Come check me out live this Thursday at noon on my channel, as I will have the mayor of my city up here talking about the dangerous stuff that's going on with MAGA, this crazy bill that is just nothing but a wealth transfer. And we still got MAGA folks in the delusional bubble, not even caring what happens. Until that next Sex is Hell video, people, I'm out.